Alright guys, let's stay here and then it's time for more testing. So this time we'll be going over the multiplication on affixing and why is it bad. So before we get started, we need to test out how much does my unit actually give me as in terms of damage. Now I know like unit, you have different affixes. I can be putting more offensive ability, and I can also be putting more defensive ones, but I'm pretty sure my unit is always pretty offensive. Like, it has a good 15.1%. That's gonna be compared to my endgame unit in the base game, which is about 300 attack each piece. So let's see the damage right now with obviously I'm gonna be testing on low level enemy because, you know, attack limit, and yeah, so let's see how much we're gonna hit. So 670, 670, 670, that's crit. Okay, 670, so we know it's consistent of 670 damage. Okay, what happens if I take off all my unit? Because that's a 9.8%. That's about, I would say, close to 50% drop, like a 48% less. Let's see how much damage I'll do now if I take off the unit. That's a crit. Okay, no crit is 439. 439. Okay, so we can basically just say it's 470, 439. So 439 damage for non-crit. Okay. So we have 670 minus 439. That's a whopping 231 damage difference. Okay. So if we use 231 divided by 439. Okay, so that's like a 52% damage difference with unit and without unit. Okay, so if I wear my unit, my damage increased by 52%. Let's remember that number. Okay. Alright guys, we're back to the base game, and this is gonna be my gear on the base game. Let's take a look. So as you can see, I have 295 apiece on attack. So the testing condition will be with shift at the bend, obviously, because, you know, I'm gonna be in the air. The sky dance is gonna trigger, and then it's gonna be my gear, my TMG gauge at 0. It's like 1 bar, so I don't want to go up with that. And I'm also gonna be close range, of course, on with or without units testing, and the PA we're going to be testing is the Infinite Fire Type 0, the big hits at the end. So let's see the damage with all the units on. So it's about 900 attack, our attack increase. Let's see. So with crit, that's 407k. 407158. Let me just write that down real quick. And let's see, what happened if I take off all my units? What's the number gonna be? Let's see. So that's about 900 attack difference on that. Let's keep everything the same. So shift at the band is on. My gear is at level 1. $349k. 349616. Alright, so the damage between 407, 158, and 349, 616. That's a 57.5k difference. And in terms of how much damage has increased from no unit to unit, let's see. So that number divided by 349616, that's about 16.4% damage increase. So as you can see, In the base game, it's only raw numbers. It doesn't really, give you that much. That's a whopping almost 900 R attack. It's only like a 16.4% damage increase. Abilities or augments is something you put onto your gear for more stats to help you improve in many different ways. Be HP to make more room for mistake, PP for more PS spamming, or percentage damage increase for faster killing. As we look at these numbers, they certainly go up as patches go on. Remember the time in Alios where we're hitting like 3-digit numbers on some heavy hitting PAs? Well, now we're hitting like 4 digits, even 5 digits number. These numbers will only go up higher. A part of it has to do with our abilities on gear, the percentage damage increase, and how it actually works. Before we start today's topic on why percentage affixes are bad, we will have to understand these damage formulas in both the base game and in NGS. This is the formula in the base game, pretty straightforward, right? Your attack minus the enemy defense, and then you have this, which is the formula in NGS for damage, realizing the percentage damage increase at the end. If you play the base game and remember how the affixing worked there, you would know it's only adding raw stats onto your gear. At the end, you will need a lot more raw attack to bring your overall damage up by a single percent. It's sort of like a diminishing return. Players can often choose something else to focus beside attack, such as max PP increase. However, if you look at the NGS damage formula, the percentage damage multiplier is at the end, meaning the more damage increase you build, you will get even more damage at the end. Well, how does that work? For example, if you put 2 of the 2% damage increase abilities onto your gear, instead of adding the 2% up to get a 4%, it's actually multiplying them together. Instead of the 4% damage increase, you'll get a 4.04% increase. Sure, the 0.04% doesn't seem to be a lot, but when you consider you have a total of 20 abilities on one weapon and 3 units, it really adds up. That's why when you're at a 67% damage increase, putting a 2% damage abilities will bring it up to a 70%. The multiplication is making the 2% a lot higher than it should initially be. So you ask me, isn't that good? Well, yes, hitting a big number is good, giving us that satisfaction feeling toward whatever the hell you're hitting. However, that brings 2 problems. For one, numbers will go sky high. Remember back in the base game, episode 6, where your damage can hit over 100,000 without much effort? That's where NGS is heading with this damage formula and how affixes work. It is actually worse than the base game at this pace due to how the abilities percentage damage increase stack on top of each other. In the base game, you put 300 attacks on 3 units, and you get like a 16.4% damage increase like how the testing was shown. But in NGS, as the testing earlier shown, it's literally over 50%, and NGS isn't even out for that long compared to the base game. Imagining NGS if you have everything with 8 slots, put in the future ability where it give you, let's say, 4% damage each. That's literally 1.04 times itself 24 times with weapon and 3 units, and giving us a fucking 256.33%. With like a 15-star weapon in the future, you're gonna hit like a million a PA or something like that. Like, what is the difference between the base game and NGS at this point? NGS is even worse in terms of keeping the number gap small between patches. Second issue with how this whole thing works. If you want to build damage, you will have to build all abilities with damage. Like I explained the formula earlier, with a 2% can become a much higher value with how the multiplication worked with abilities. Let's say you decide to put the last ability out of 8 as a defensive ability, something like Dread Keeper, where it doesn't give you a percentage damage increase. You will probably lose out a lot of damage. Let's say a 4% damage is what you missed. That 4% could become like an 8% increase to your damage. It forces and limits you on what you can build, unlike the base game where you have the option to go for something other than just damage due to the diminishing return. I keep wondering why SEGA make NGS. Not just it's an incomplete game, things like attack limit and things like the formula or the percentage multiplication on affixes. Hopefully they will find a way to fix these formulas before it really become a big issue later on when numbers explode on hits. What is your thought on the percentage affixes issues on NGS? or your thought on how they can fix it. You may leave a comment below and let us know. That'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. My name is Day. See you next time. And most importantly, have a wonderful day and happy farming.